This is the original podcast edition of The Guild of the Cowry Catchers by Abigail Hilton, now part of the complete Pirates of Wefravain series. The books are available as audiobooks, ebooks, and paperbacks. This podcast originally aired from 2010 to 2014. Stick around after the story for commentary from me, the author, more than a decade later. The Guild of the Cowry Catchers, a story of pirates in Panamindorah. Written, narrated, and produced by Abigail Hilton. Book 5, Shores Beyond the World. Warning: this novel was intended for people who shop in the grown-up section of the bookstore. If you need to ask whether you will be offended, you probably will. Episode 8. Chapter 24, Thrashing.
The dances performed by the Ocelons of Wefravain are very old. Some elements are similar to the ancient dances still practiced by the Shavier Fauns of Asia Minor. These, in turn, are believed to be part of the lost sky dances, which were once performed in the air with Pegasus. Gwain, the non-Grishnards of Wefravain.
No one spoke for a moment. Then the talking began. Not a storm of words, but a patter, like desolate winter rain. Gerard turned and left the upper deck. As he walked the halls of the lower deck, he could hear the sailors talking and laughing in the forecastle. They'd had their own evening meal served there, and they would be singing and telling stories and dicing. Gerard heard a flute. He recognized the tune of Thessalin's song, and veered away. Gerard found the cabin where the children were sleeping, the ones who didn't have families aboard. He hesitated, then pushed the door open. It was dark inside and hung with hammocks. They'd all gone to bed, but he heard whispering that stopped when he entered.
Dakar?
She sat up in her hammock, a rumpled silhouette in the faint light from the hall.
Gerard?
She asked in her little girl's voice.
Is something wrong?
He came into the room, ducked under a hammock, and stopped beside her. She looked up at him with velvet black eyes, no color visible in the shadows.
You won't turn into one of those, will you? Not you.
Gerard?
He hugged her. She hugged him back, leaning up to put her arms around his waist.
What's wrong?
He shook his head. He felt foolish for frightening her.
Nothing's wrong. We just have to go to Asia Minor soon.
Do you want me to go with you?
No.
He let go of her, ruffled her hair.
Go to sleep.
He could feel her eyes watching him as he stepped out of the room and shut the door. He walked back to his own cabin, thinking.
We're going to another conference, another parley in the Great Lodge. Sylvia will insist on going, and I won't let him go alone. All the kings will be there, even the small kingdoms. And that means my father.
He stepped into his office and sat down at his desk. He wondered what he would say. He wondered if Alcere would be there. He wondered what he would do if he met Morchella face to face.
Her messenger looked like Thess. She sounded like Thess. She even got her laugh right. I'd forgotten her laugh. How could I forget that? How could they remember her better than I do?
His mind wandered to things he had not thought about since the mill.
What if I behaved differently the last time I was on Asia Minor? Why didn't I do something different?
Gerard.
Sylvia peered around the door. Gerard realized that he was sitting in the dark, only moonlight coming faintly through the portal window. He couldn't have said how long he'd been sitting there. Sylvia came into the room.
Gerard, I was about to mount a shipwide search. No one knew where you went, and with wyverns about, I didn't see a light on in here, so I didn't.
Gerard cleared his throat.
I'm sorry.
Sylvia lit a lamp. He was talking quickly.
Gwain's Cowry catchers, the ones who usually travel with the Defiance, say there aren't any wyverns in the water near the ships. That messenger came in quickly and left. One of these fawn captains claims to have beaten off an organized wyvern attack on his own ship years ago. He's showing everyone that war hammer of his and saying we should all carry them. Gwain doesn't think we're in immediate danger, though.
Silvio prattled on, but Gerard wasn't listening. He took a piece of fine white paper and a pen from his desk. He wanted to write... what?
Something to be read if I don't come back. For Silvio? For Dakar? Maybe. Maybe something from my father. Maybe something I should have written a long time ago.
He thought about what Kaloan had said.
I heard that he was offering a lot of money to anyone who could tell him what happened to you.
I could have written to Father any time this summer. It wouldn't have hurt me to just let him know I'm alive. Why did I never do that?
Silvio stopped in front of the desk.
What are you doing?
Gerard didn't look up.
Are we going to Major Minor in 3 days?
Yes, I think so.
Gerard nodded. He dipped his pen in the ink and wrote the date, very neatly, at the top of the paper. He couldn't think of a greeting that didn't sound like a lie, so he just wrote,
Father.
And then stopped.
I don't hate you. No, not a way to begin.
He took a deep breath and wrote,
I'm not sure you wish to hear from me, but I was given the impression that you wanted to know my whereabouts and condition. If this is not the case, you need read no further.
Gerard tapped the pen, thought for a moment. He looked up to find Silvio leaning over the desk, reading upside down.
Gerard, we know it's a trap. Gwain knows. We're not just going to walk into it.
Gerard could feel Silvio's eyes and the worried churn of his thoughts, but he was concentrating on the letter. He was afraid that if he stopped, he'd never finish it. Slowly, with frequent pauses, he wrote,
I have made mistakes. I have known despair. I have been hungry and cold and naked and afraid. I've lost everything, including my wife, whom I would have died to protect, but that option was not given to me. It is possible that by the time you receive this, I will be dead.
He was writing carefully, in Grishnard, making each character as elegantly as he'd been taught as a child. It gave him time to think between words. He was vaguely conscious of Silvio having left the room. Gerard thought that he might need to apologize later, but right now, he needed to write. When Gerard couldn't decide what to put next, he went back and further embellished the previous characters. He found that he was doing this more and more frequently. There didn't seem to be anything to say after dead. Gerard was startled from his concentration by the soft tinkle of bells. He raised his head. Silvio had returned. He was wearing nothing except bells, little golden bells on his ankles and wrists and tail. His eyes were lined with curling flares of kohl. In the soft, warm lamplight, his skin and hair shone luminous. As he began to move, Gerard realized that he was gleaming with a faint sheen of oil. The dance Silvio began was not quite the ritualistically simplistic dance he'd done with Lou on the deck earlier in the season, nor was it as overtly erotic as the dances the Aslan girls had been performing on the stage in the Swordfish. Silvio's dance had elements of both, but it reminded Gerard most of the movements that Silvio had been teaching Dakar that clear spring night when he'd caught them dancing on the beach. Silvio danced as though Gerard were not watching, without a hint of self-consciousness or even of showmanship. He spun and swayed and leapt to the tinkle of his own bells, stamping his feet in time to a flute that only he could hear. His hair and tail seemed to float around him. The muscles of his belly and arms rippled beneath his skin. He was hypnotic and beautiful, and Gerard could not take his eyes away. Gradually, Silvio danced his way to Gerard's desk. Not until he'd finished his dance did his pale blue eyes flash up to meet Gerard's. Gerard had no idea what his face looked like, but it must have been encouraging, because Silvio hopped up on the desk and pivoted his legs over the top. He let Gerard scramble to push the paper and inkwell out of the way. Silvio leaned forward, eyes glittering, skin faintly flushed. Gerard scooted back a little, but Silvio was still all but in his lap.
All right, you have my attention.
Silvio smirked.
I bet I could have more of it.
He slid his arms around Gerard's neck and dropped into his lap, one knee on either side of his legs. Silvio kissed him while he unbuttoned Gerard's shirt. He was bracing himself against the sides of the chair, not quite brushing the bulge in Gerard's trousers. Gerard's nostrils flared.
Silvio, are you wearing...
Cat mint. There's a little in the oil.
He paused, and his playful tone vanished.
Is it bothering you? Do you want me to wipe it off?
Gerard caught his breath.
It's not bothering me, although it's certainly affecting me.
Gerard shifted position, and Silvio levered himself up on his knees. He laughed.
No, not yet.
Bed?
Suggested Gerard hoarsely. Silvio was working his way over Gerard's collarbone, his hands now busy with Gerard's trousers.
I don't think so.
Gerard squirmed. He had a heady feeling from the catmint, but now that he could identify it, he felt more in control of himself.
Not in my clothes, not at my desk.
Why not? The bed will still be there later. Besides, I like this chair.
It's certainly good for teasing.
Silvio had gotten Gerard's pants open, rubbed briefly against his erection, then put his knees on the arms of the chair so that he was actually looking down at Gerard. Gerard ran his hands over Silvio's back and tried to pull him lower, but he was slick with oil. Silvio laughed again.
Stop that.
He kissed Gerard and rubbed one oil-slick palm over a nipple. Every stroke sent a stab of pleasure that went straight to Gerard's groin. He shifted again, breathless, and tried to get more contact. Silvio leaned against him and wagged his tail hard between Gerard's legs. The fur tickled and teased and maddened. Gerard groaned.
Silvio, please.
Then Silvio lowered himself onto Gerard. Gerard gasped. Silvio was watching his face intently, his eyes narrow, a little smile at the corners of his mouth.
Was that easier than you expected?
I wasn't exactly expecting.
Silvio rubbed against Gerard's jaw like a cat.
You never do. It's part of what makes you so much fun. Breathe, Gerard. You're supposed to breathe.
Gerard gulped, stammered something incoherent. Silvio sucked at his earlobe.
Gerard, that iron self-control of yours, it's really fun to watch you lose it.
Gerard tried again to speak, but Silvio moved against him, and he let out his breath in a rush. He wrapped his arms around Silvio, kissed his neck and shoulders frantically. This couldn't last long. Just when he was about to go over the edge, Silvio paused and started combing through Gerard's hair with his hands. Gerard was shaking. He dropped his head against Silvio's shoulder and tried to catch his breath. There really didn't seem to be enough air in the room.
Are you all right? Not hurting you?
Silvio tilted his head as though in contemplation.
Well, let's see. I'm completely in control of how fast we go and how deep and so on. We're both slicked up with oil. Nope, no problems.
What about you?
Gerard could see that Silvio had the partial erection that characterized his sexual play. Gerard started to put a hand between them, but Silvio growled in his ear.
Don't distract me.
He moved again, and this time he didn't stop until Gerard was whimpering and squirming and finally holding Silvio so hard that he left nail marks in his shoulders. When Gerard had finally collapsed, bonelessly, in his chair, Silvio stayed where he was for a while, tracing the contours of his face and playing with his hair.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
Gerard didn't open his eyes. Silvio levered himself up and got down from the chair.
Bed now.
Gerard rose, a little wobbly. His pants slid to the floor, and he stepped out of them. He yawned.
I think you wore me out.
That makes two of us.
Silvio did look tired.
Hold me.
Gerard blinked his eyes open.
Of course.
He picked Silvio up, warm, silky skin, and oil, and sweat.
You know, you don't have to do all that to get held.
Silvio smiled.
I know, but it was fun. You liked it.
I'd have to be made of stone not to like it.
Gerard carried him into the bedroom.
Sex doesn't fix everything, you know.
Doesn't it?
Silvio helped Gerard out of his coat and shirt, then got a towel and wiped off most of the oil.
No, it doesn't.
Silvio crawled into his arms.
It just seemed like you were sort of thrashing.
Gerard leaned back against the pillows and sighed.
I guess I was. I do want to write my father, though.
Silvio curled up in a more comfortable position against his chest. Gerard thought that he should probably get up and put out the lamps, but he didn't feel sleepy anymore. His mind returned on and off to his letter, but without his previous level of anxiety. He was wondering something else, too, and not sure how to ask. Finally, he said,
Silvio, what we just did. When you said that lovers hurt you in bed, I thought that's what you meant.
Silvio chuckled.
Yeah, I figured that's why you never asked. It can hurt, but it doesn't have to. My master at my brothel wouldn't let customers do that to us until we turned 12. Not because he cared, but because it's too easy to get injured when you're little. Not that rapes didn't happen, but at least they weren't on the menu. After the brothel, well, it wasn't my favorite trick. I had to be able to trust the other person. It actually feels pretty good, though, if you do it right.
And did we do it right?
You think I'd let you do it wrong? Hey, you're allowed to use your hands now.
Gerard was laughing.
The worst part of you not having a tongue is that I cannot kiss you and shut you up.
I might shut up if you did something else.
So Gerard did something else. Chapter 25. Skytown.
Unfortunately, Nons have often been treated just as poorly by fauns as by Panons. Manatee and Cowry catcher skins are commonly used for waterproof clothing on Masia Minor. Gwaine, the non-Grishnads of Wefravain.
Gerard woke early the next morning. He left Silvio asleep and went into his office. He took the letter he'd started yesterday and reread it.
Father, I'm not sure you wish to hear from me, but I was given the impression that you wanted to know my whereabouts and condition. If this is not the case, you need read no further. I have made mistakes. I have known despair. I have been hungry and cold and naked and afraid. I have lost everything, including my wife, whom I would have died to protect, but that option was not given to me. It is possible that by the time you receive this, I will be dead.
Gerard picked up the pen again and continued without pause.
I have also survived what I did not think I could survive. I have been as honorable as I knew how. I have been as faithful as I knew how. I know that I am not the elder son you wished for. I have been a disappointment to you. However, I wanted you to know that the life you gave me has not been entirely wasted. I have helped the helpless, dispelled lies, and brought hope to dark places. I am an officer on a beautiful ship. I have a deck under my feet and a sail over my head. Your son is happy, useful, and loved. I hope you are as well. Yours, Gerard.
Gerard was just putting on some clothes and wondering about a bath and breakfast when there came a knock on his door. He opened it to find Gwaine standing in the hall, dressed and smiling.
Ready to go to Masia Minor, Gerard?
Gerard raised his eyebrows. Gwaine came on past him into the room.
Where's Silvio? I want to talk to him.
Still asleep, and that would be my fault.
Gwaine was pacing and rubbing his hands.
Well, get him up.
I thought the parley wasn't for 3 days. It shouldn't take more than a watch to fly over there unless we're using the traditional route via the sandbar.
Gwaine flipped his feathered tail.
Oh, of course we're not going via the sandbar. Give me a little credit. And we're not flying either.
Do you want me to fit out the meerkat?
I want you to wake up Silvio and get yourselves ready to leave. Expect everything you pack to get wet. We are not waiting on Morcella's whimsy. I'm not going over there to talk to a bunch of Grishnad kings either. I've already said what I had to say to them in print. I am going over to talk to the Shelts who once called me their king, even if they never really believed it.
He paused.
I don't suppose I can convince you and Silvio not to come.
Gerard shook his head.
Silvio thinks he has to go.
Gerard did not like that at all. He tried not to think about how much he didn't like it, because there was nothing he could do about it.
Other than tie Silvio up and leave him in our cabin.
He had half a mind to do it. Choices be damned.
Gwaine?
Silvio padded through the door in an untucked shirt and trousers.
I thought I heard you in here. What's wrong?
He was signing now. Gwaine repeated himself. Silvio frowned.
Why are you being so mysterious?
Because it's difficult to explain, and you'll see soon enough. Do you trust me?
Silvio laughed nervously.
Of course,
Said Gerard.
but we wish you'd be more specific.
Pack like you're going to swim over. We could go with selkies or cowry catchers. I've done that before. If the old way isn't open, we might do it today. We need sunlight, though, no matter how we go, so hurry up.
Gerard rather doubted that they would be swimming the substantial distance to Asia Minor, with spiders, wyverns, and poisonous jellyfish in the water. Nevertheless, he put on old clothes, oiled his sword thoroughly, put together a light pack, and was on deck with Silvio within a quarter watch. After some thought, Gerard wrapped the letter to his father in oilskin, and placed it in a small oilskin pouch around his neck. If they truly swam all the way, it would probably be ruined, but he did not believe they would. He made a hasty copy and left it in an envelope on his desk, with a note about where to send it should he not return. Silvio was quiet, but excited. Gerard asked him what he was thinking, but he just shook his head.
Do you know how we're going to reach the island?
I have an idea. I'm curious.
The party was to consist of the same Celts who'd gone to CERN, except Myrta in place of Lou. Gerard had not seen Myrta since they arrived at the rendezvous. He'd been half hoping that she and Gawain had become more than friends over the summer, but he'd never gotten Gawain alone to ask. From the look of them now, he thought not. In fact, they seemed a little uncomfortable around each other. Myrta looked unhappy, although she kept smiling in a perfunctory sort of way. Gerard thought that Asia Minor must carry even more sad memories for her than it did for him, and he wondered why she wanted to come. He remembered how her sister, Astral, had guided them over the sandbar last time, all smiles and flirting and half-threats.
Dead now, like this, like so many others.
The only other member of their party was Zu, the winged wolf. She sat in the bow of their boat as they rowed away from the ships towards Asia 81. Gawain had an instrument in his hands that looked like one of Silvio's, for measuring angles between the water, sky, and land. Now and then, Gawain stood up and took readings. They rounded a jetty and caught sight of Asia Minor at last, a twisting, rocky coast full of inlets and little bays, the mouths of rivers that disappeared, switchbacking into the interior.
So many places for a small ship to hide.
It had always been a good place for pirates. Gerard was struck by a memory from long ago, sitting in an office in Morcella's dungeons, listening to a frightened Gazumel teenager babbling about his employment with the pirate ship Foam.
He said there was a tunnel. He said they sailed from a different island. Gawain?
But Gawain had signaled for everyone to stop rowing, and he was concentrating on his instrument. They were just a little offshore of the Numerary, in the calm water between the two sandbars. The water was very clear. Gerard could see coral and brightly colored fish below them. Gawain took measurements, glanced all around, and finally said,
Well, what do you think?
He spoke to Zu, who was leaning far out of the boat, eyeing the water.
I think, yes.
She said in her soft, hissing voice.
There are cowry catchers down there,
Gawain said to the boat in general.
but the wild ones haven't been talking to me all summer. It's strange. Ever since we came back to Wefervain, they won't talk to Tsu, or to the cowry catchers that travel with the Defiance. I had a couple of Selkie friends, but I haven't been able to find them either.
Sylvia was looking over the side into the clear water.
I don't see any cowry catchers.
He signed.
They're under the coral, unless they've moved, but they don't move often.
Gerard saw something large and indistinct dart over the sand below. He stiffened.
Gawain, there are spiders in the water.
Yes.
Said Gawain absently. He took something out of his pack. It was a bright orange cowrie shell on a chain. Gerard had never seen one like it. Gawain dropped the shell into the sea. They all watched it fall in the clear water, which was deeper than it looked. The shell, on its flashing chain, came to rest on a little patch of sand below them. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a shape, gray and indistinct, seemed to appear out of nowhere. Gerard thought that it must have come from under the coral, but it seemed too large to have been hiding there. The shape seemed to be nosing around the shell, and Gerard realized that he was looking at a manatee. He'd never seen a live one, only their skins, and their shelts. It was larger than he'd expected. He thought it must be as large as the average reef shark, bigger than some. A moment later, it was joined by a smaller shape with dark, billowing hair. The Celt examined Gwain's offering, then glanced up at the faces peering down over the side of the boat. It seemed to hesitate. Then it lashed its flat tail and swam back into the space between the coral, leaving Gwain's shell on the sand. After a few moments, the manatee swam away as well. Gwain frowned, and Sue gave an annoyed hiss.
They are stubborn,
she said.
They're scared,
said Gwain.
but I don't understand why. I've never hurt them. They gave me that cowrie shell 10 years ago when I negotiated a bargain to get the fawns to stop killing them and capturing them for the slave trade. Usually when I drop that shell in the water, they bring it back to me and we can talk. By a translator, of course, since their speech is too high for our ears. I don't understand why they won't respond.
Myrta spoke for the first time.
I think the fawns on the island have started killing them again.
Gwain's frown deepened.
Maybe, but is that any reason to fear me? They know me.
Fickle, stupid creatures,
muttered Serwyn. Gwain looked ready to say something cross, and then Marlowe said,
Why don't we just go down anyway?
Everyone went silent. Sylvia was the only person who didn't look gloomy. He signed,
It's the spiders, isn't it? A bubble nest.
And the moment he said it, Gerard understood. Everyone knew diving spiders nested in reefs, and Gwain had mentioned bubble nests. They'd already encountered examples of the curiously strong web of diving spiders, and Gerard had no doubt that it could anchor a certain amount of air to the ocean floor.
So that's how the tunnel is made?
Everyone looked at him.
Who told you about a tunnel?
Asked Gwain.
Pater, a long time ago when I questioned him after I became the captain of police.
Marlowe laughed.
Gerard, if you'd had one more season, you'd have figured out this whole thing. You were exactly the sort of police captain I was afraid of.
Silvio shook his head.
No, Gerard never had a chance. He had a conscience, or a sort of handicap.
He nudged Gerard for a translation, but Gwain spoke first.
I'm going down there. I don't know what the cowrie catchers will do, though. No one has to go with me.
Gerard could see Silvio tensing, his perennial fear of being mauled by a large animal warring against his determination to help Gwain do what he needed to do on Asia Minor.
Of course we're going,
said Gerard. A general mutter of agreement followed him.
I suppose I could use a sword underwater if I had to.
So they all secured their packs and prepared to get wet. The boat would likely be lost, but there was no help for that, since Gwain was unwilling to let down an anchor that might damage coral or harm cowrie catchers or spiders. He took a lead-weighted harness from his pack and put it on Sue.
Most of us are carrying enough weight to take us to the bottom,
he explained.
But she's not. Gerard, you might want to hold on to Silvio. I suspect his fur traps air.
Gerard didn't need to be told.
From what Pater said, this tunnel used to go from shore to shore. He didn't know anything about the spiders or the cowrie catchers.
Gwain nodded.
Fawns who worked with me used these tunnels freely for several years, but we tried to keep the specifics a secret. Pirates used to take the new recruits over at night with no lights, so they couldn't see the tunnel. It entered the rock caves under the beach and came out on dry land. Sue checked when we arrived. The portion that used to emerge on the mainland is gone. For all I know, a big chunk of the path across the channel may be gone too. The only way to find out is to go down there, since none of the cowrie catchers will talk to me.
Gwain stepped over the side. Everyone jumped in quick succession. Silvio reached for Gerard's hand, but Gerard put his whole arm around him so that he had a good grip on Silvio when they hit the water. Gerard forced his eyes open against the salt sting as his ears filled with the heavy, garbled hum of the ocean. The water was very clear, and the sun very bright overhead. He felt his ears pop as they drifted down past the motion of the waves into the stillness below. Silvio's grip tightened on his arm.
Sort of like learning to swim,
came Silvio's voice in his head.
Except without the swimming, or the breathing.
Gerard didn't answer. He was trying not to feel panicky. Gwain hit the sand first, which sent up a cloud of pale dust. Gerard sank into it and reached the bottom completely blind. He couldn't tell where Gwain had gone, or what he was supposed to do. He was beginning to need air. He tried to remind himself that the surface was not really very far away.
If I drop my sword and kick my boots off.
Someone caught his arm on the opposite side of Silvio. Gerard let himself be led in slow motion. Then someone was pushing his head down, trying to make him duck, and Silvio was wriggling loose.
Let me go, Gerard. I can feel...
And then his head broke the surface, and he was gasping, stumbling up a mound of wet gray sand. Silvio was turning in circles just ahead of him.
Gerard, it's...
Gerard shook wet hair out of his eyes. He stared up into a dome of coral, mottled purple and brown and pink and green. Between the coral tines stretched opaque planes of whitish material that he supposed must be spiderweb. Sunlight fell through the planes of web and danced on the strange walls in chords of light. Shadows of fish swam across the walls. The creatures could be seen dimly through the planes of web, delicate yellows and reds and oranges. The walls themselves reflected the blue of the sky and some of the colors of the creatures outside, which appeared to be flying. Gawain was standing in the middle of the room. He raised his hands with a grin.
Welcome to Skytown.
You have been listening to The Guild of the Cowry Catchers by Abigail Hilton. Copyright Abigail Hilton. The ebook for Cowry Catchers Book 5 includes 16 illustrations in ink and watercolor by Sarah Cloutier, as well as 13 portraits by Greensprite and 2 versions of the map by Jeff McDowell. The ebook is available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, iBooks, and Kobo. The rest of the series is also available as illustrated ebooks, and the entire series is available in non-illustrated paper on Amazon. Visit my website at abigailhilton.com for information, including how to get 25% discounts on paper books and how to order signed books. This podcast included the vocal talents of
Nathan Lowell
as Gerard,
Norm Sherman,
as Silvio,
Chris Lester,
as Gawain,
Hughes Hilton,
as Marlowe,
R.E. Chambliss,
as Dakar,
Brian Lincoln,
as Serwin,
Philippa Valentine,
as Myrta. Sound effects for this podcast were provided by SoundSnap, the Free Sound Project, and Sound Dogs. The intro music was Grace by Beth Quist. Music for Book 5 of Cowry Catchers included selections from Digital Juice at digitaljuice.com and Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. It also included additional music from Beth Quist, Diana Rowan, Jamie Saber, and David Modica, all from magnatune.net. All the music was licensed and used according to the terms of the websites. For details... This is a standard copyright now. This podcast is provided for your personal enjoyment only. You can download and archive the episodes for your personal use. You may not re-upload, mirror, or publicly redistribute the audio files, nor can you alter, remix, or create derivative works. And I'm back. This is 2026 Abby, coming to you with a few thoughts on the episode. Alright, so now we are firing some Chekhov's guns that I put on the mantle back in the first few chapters of the book. I really like symmetry in stories, and that list that Gerard found in the fireplace in the Captain of Police office and the very first few chapters of the book, those items are coming back around here. So, I think giant spiders are for some reason traditional in fantasy, and I don't honestly know if it's original with Tolkien and Shelob, or whether it goes back further than that. That could be the origin, since he is one of the fathers of fantasy. But anyway, giant spiders, very traditional, and they're terrifying, right? Giant spiders are just very, very frightening for some reason. So I wanted to do a little bit of a different take on that. When I was a child, I learned about diving bell spiders, and I thought it was so very interesting. And since I was also a fantasy-loving kid, of course, the first place my brain went was like, what if you had a diving bell spider the size of Shelob? You know, what could that creature do? They could make a bubble nest large enough for something the size of a human being to take refuge in. And this creature grew from there. And I guess I should say, or should have said up front, diving bell spiders are real. They really do make bubble nests. They go up to the surface and they capture a bubble of air in their back feet, and they bring it down to their nest underwater and trap it underneath their nest and create a bubble nest, which is super cool. So anyway, these are very large diving bell spiders. More secrets and reveals to come. I will see you in the next episode. This is Abigail Hilton, and you have been listening to the Pirates of Wefravain saga. Join me on Patreon for early episodes, long-form interviews, forum access, personal updates, and lots of artwork, including maps and species charts. That's patreon.com/Abigail Hilton. If you want the whole story now with no interruptions and some remastering of the early books for sound quality, you can find the entire series at shop.abigailhilton.com, along with all my other novels. The audiobooks are delivered by BookFunnel. Background music was Hidden Sky by Jamie Sieber, licensed from Magnatune.net circa 2014. The Guild of the Cowry Catchers podcast is an audio adaptation of the Pirates of Wefravain saga, written and produced by Abigail Hilton. Original production copyright 2010. All rights are reserved to the author.